Shocking new Oak Island discovery at Smith's Cove. The depths of Smith's Cove are home to untold riches just waiting to be discovered. An amazing new find has surfaced from the depths of Smith's Cove on Oak Island. It's so cutting-edge that it'll revolutionize the world. Rick and Marty Lagina are digging away at Smith's Cove with boundless energy and excitement. They want to enclose an area of roughly 12,000 square feet with a gigantic steel cofferdam measuring 525 feet in width. With the new Oak Island discovery at Smith's Cove, this is all part of a search that started over 2 centuries ago, with the hope of illuminating an enigma that has baffled humans for that long. Using information obtained from previous excavations by Dan Blankenship, the team zeroed in on a specific spot near the northwest corner of the cofferdam. They theorized that a mysterious U-shaped building was hiding in this area, and that it held the key to the site's long-guarded secrets. Their research of the ancient Smith's Cove was motivated by a sense of hope for the discovery of previously unknown facts. A new finding was made at Smith's Cove on Oak Island as a result of the team's persistent efforts. It wasn't a single epiphany. In reality, though, a fascinating chain reaction of findings occurred. As the dig progresses, the astounding discoveries will be thoroughly described. Gary, an expert metal detectorist, was indispensable, searching the heaps of dirt and debris for signs of anything of value. Not long afterward, his detector picked up a non-ferrous signal, sparking enthusiasm at the prospect of finding valuable gold. The group huddled around in expectancy. They carefully and visibly exposed the shiny object, exhibiting its golden sheen and suggesting it might be shaped like a coin. The prospect of finding their first treasure at Smith's Cove stoked the excitement of the crew. However, more research is needed to determine the nature of the discovery. An important fact became clear upon further inspection. There were no machined edges on the piece, which suggests it was made before 1795, when the first money pit was found. This finding assumes great significance, raising the possibility that the item is a priceless relic from the past. This life-changing find has energized the crew to keep digging, in the hopes of finding even more priceless artifacts. They worked with a wave of melancholy, remembering the pioneering spirit of digger Dan Blankenship, who had originally explored this area in 1971. In order to show their findings to Dan and hopefully shed light on the riddles surrounding Oak Island, they became even more determined to complete their investigation of the mysterious U-shaped construction. The crew kept their will and concentration throughout the excavation, knowing that each new find brought them one step closer to discovering the truth about Oak Island. They were aware of the gravity of their mission, yet unwavering in their conviction that the key to their success lay beneath their feet. As they continued their search, the crew kept in mind Oak Island's legendary history, which has attracted innumerable treasure hunters with the promise of untold wealth and a centuries-old mystery. They took pride in their illustrious lineage and set out to leave their imprint on the world. Their faith in finally unraveling the enigma of Oak Island grew with each new piece of evidence they uncovered. They were so sure that they were on the cusp of something incredible that they were willing to go down any street in search of answers. The crew at Smith's Cove didn't let setbacks stop them from their painstaking excavation work, because they know the answers they're looking for are out there somewhere. Smith's Cove, named after United Empire loyalist Joseph Smith, is a little village perched high above the Rowell and Peter Fornetti visited a number of ancient sites in Portugal. They were led to 3 distinct locations, each of which displayed mounting proof that Oak Island's history is connected in some way to that of Portugal and the Templars. In Tomar, Portugal, there is a church and Templar fortress called Convento de Cristo. It was built in the 12th century. To start their investigation, the group was brought there. Corjan was particularly intrigued by the aqueduct's drainage system, which he thought had served as inspiration for whoever created the Smith's Cove finger drains. The aqueduct drainage system was what captivated Corjan the most out of all the amazing elements that were packed into this massive structure. This link might have seemed a little tenuous, but Corjan had more details. The original church gate, now faded, bore an engraving of a cross surrounded by 4 dots. The sign found on the HO stone on Oak Island had an engraving that matched this one exactly. The HO stone was a fragment of a rock discovered on Oak Island. The boulder is thought to have formerly indicated the location of a treasure, but an accident in 1921 reportedly destroyed it. The lads also discovered another O-shaped sign with a dot in the middle, which is also depicted on the HO stone during the previous week. The group then traveled to a military history museum in Lisbon. They had replicas of the two little cannonballs that had been found on Oak Island, and they intended to use the museum's armory to see if they could match the cannonballs to one of the cannons there. The fact that two museum employees immediately confirmed that the two cannonballs were of Portuguese origin wasn't a surprise to the boys, because they had already heard from a chemist in a previous episode that the cannonball's composition indicated a Portuguese origin. Alex loaded the cannon with the ball once the guys had discovered the right kind of cannon in order to make sure they had the right kind of weapon. The cannon, which was first used in the 14th or 15th century, was often mounted on a ship's deck. The experts at the museum, however, claimed that the gun could be easily taken out of the ship and brought to an island. Have you already subscribed? Do this right away to learn more exciting updates on fresh discoveries made on Oak Island. Given the ongoing instability on the global stage that has existed ever since the New World was discovered, it should not be shocking that the mysterious Oak Island has come to represent a secret trove of royal treasures. Over time, Oak Island has come to represent a secret hoard of royal treasures. Two of the most convincing responses in this area come from the French and British militaries, both of which are supportive. The British's hostile acts against the French garrison at Fort Louisbourg are the defining element in this interpretation. It's thought that at some point during either of the French and Indian War or the 7 Years' War, the French treasure that had been housed in the bastion during those wars was transferred to the sophisticated vault on Oak Island. Two very different viewpoints can be taken while examining this line of thinking. Some believe that at some time during the 6-week siege in 1758, the French were able to smuggle all of their treasures past the British boats that were invading and deposit them in the fittingly named Money Pit, which was located within Fort Louisbourg. Some individuals think that the British attack on Fort Louisbourg in 1758, which was successful, served as the catalyst for the ultimate building of the Money Pit, which served as a storage facility. This story holds that the British Army was given the order to painstakingly dismantle the devastated French bastion, pillage its treasures, and bury them beneath an island off the coast of Nova Scotia. You won't believe the recent astounding scientific discovery. To learn more, see the video after this one. On Lot 8, in a recent episode of The Curse on Oak Island, researchers have finally uncovered substantial proof of a metallic anomaly. Marty, Gary, and the other members of the team investigate Lot 8 after finding a large metallic oddity there. They come uncover a number of unique relics, including a garnet brooch and a piece from a bride's horse, which prompts questions about their origins and any connections. Moreover, they discover a piece of beveled iron, which agrees nicely with the results of the most recent magnetometry investigation. This implies that the object was formerly a broken antique cutting tool. This finding suggests that human activity may have existed in a location that was previously believed to be devoid of people. In order to further understand the significance of this significant metallic anomaly evidence on Lot 8, the team made the decision to acquire additional excavation licenses and consult with experts. The discovery raises questions regarding its provenance and any connections it might have to other local findings. The scholars are intrigued by these unique items and believe that this particular area may hold some special significance. A large piece of iron with a beveled edge is discovered by the Oak Island crew. It may be a broken piece of the ancient adze, a type of cutting tool. This result is noteworthy because it agrees with a recent magnetometry research conducted by the team, which found a significant metallic anomaly in the same area. The same site recently combed the island for riches. They discovered a wide variety of artifacts and antiquities. A handcrafted replica of a map of France was one of their discoveries, which aroused their interest in the artifact. In order to conduct the analysis, they enlisted the assistance of historian and maritime expert Zena Halpern. After determining that the map was created in 1647, Halpern theorized that the resources it indicated may have originated in Africa. During the course of their investigation, The Lagena brothers and the rest of their crew discovered fragments of a book, which further investigation revealed to be a bookbinder. After making this discovery, the brothers began to contemplate the possibility that they had not yet discovered additional buried manuscripts on the island. A fragment of parchment made from animal skin was yet another fascinating artifact discovered. William Chappell and Frederick Blair, explorers of Oak Island, have been hypothesized to be involved. In the 15th century, when the document was created, only the wealthy could afford to dispatch mail. In addition, the explorers discovered a number of gold coins near a pit that became known as the Money Pit. This location sparked the island's obsession with treasure that has persisted for the past 2 centuries. Unfortunately, a recurring issue with flooding halted Chappell and Blair's treasure hunting expedition when the Money Pit became submerged in water, preventing them from making any further progress. After Chappell and Blair led the way, many others attempted to find treasure on Oak Island, but unfortunately none were successful. Chappell and Blair were only the beginning of a long line of people who followed in their footsteps. The issue of where the loot was hidden evaded even President Roosevelt, despite his best efforts. Despite numerous abortive attempts, the search for treasure on the island continued indefinitely. This was due to the efforts of individuals like Irwin Hamilton, who unearthed artifacts that were not typical of the area. It was evident that Rick and Marty had a challenging mission ahead of them. They were fortunate to have a competent and capable team supporting them. Beautiful Annapolis Basin. Researchers are finding intriguing leads, but they know their work is far from done. Oak Island's mystery hasn't lost any of its allure or difficulty over the years. It will continue to attract people for years to come. Smith's Cove, like Oak Island itself, has attracted treasure hunters and researchers drawn in by the promise of untold riches and the intrigue of centuries-old mysteries, prompting countless excavations and studies that have yielded a wide range of findings and ideas. Strange man-made structures known as box drains or finger drains astonished everyone at Smith's Cove. Using pebbles and coconut fiber, these buildings skillfully formed a system of waterways that reached all the way from the shore to the Money Pit. Ingeniously constructed flood tunnels with drains are thought to have been used to conceal the gold. If someone tried to dig for the Money Pit's hidden treasure, the region would be flooded with ocean. Speculation regarding the worth of the hidden treasure on Oak Island has been sparked by the discovery of the box drains. The drainage system itself is an indication of the treasure's potential value, given the level of innovation required to build it during that time period. Another curious construction, this one made of wood and formed like a U, was discovered at Smith's Cove, partially buried in the sand. Experts can't agree on whether or not it was used as a wartime mooring facility or as part of the flood tunnel system. Its presence, however, just serves to further the mystery surrounding Oak Island. In addition to these buildings, a wide variety of artifacts have been discovered in Smith's Cove. Coins from the 1600s and 1700s, as well as pieces of ceramics and metal, have been found. The wide range of artifacts found in one place is evidence that individuals from many different cultures and eras visited there. This has led many to believe that pirates and other mariners frequently visited Oak Island in search of a safe haven to bury their loot. Not only have treasure hunters become interested in Smith's Cove, but geological studies have also been conducted there in an effort to better understand the island's unique features and their possible relevance to the wealth. Subscribe now for more shocking and interesting new discoveries on the Oak Island. The inclusion of rock and coconut fiber box drains or finger drains suggests the presence of a complex flood tunnel system built to conceal the loot. It has been theorized that the island was a favorite hiding location for pirates and mariners due to the wide variety of artifacts found there, including coins, pottery shards, and metal objects. Several treasure hunters have lost their lives in the search of the riches, despite the fact that geological investigations utilizing ground-penetrating radar have yielded vital insights for ongoing digs. Relics from Shaft 6 and a near-identical copy of the fabled 90-foot stone are just two of the incredible finds uncovered by the Oak Island crew. The mystery of Oak Island is deepened by the discovery of artifacts such as coconut fiber, parchment scraps, and human bones. In spite of setbacks, the Oak Island team is still working to solve the island's riddles. The film also references to the mysterious and fascinating character of the Oak Island findings, which have and continue to captivate viewers. Furthermore, it implies that the island's claimed curse contributes to the place's creepy aura and mystique. The video ends by urging viewers to check out the channel's back catalog and sign up for future updates. Click on the next video now to find out more about strange discovery that marvels. Evidence of a covert tunnel is found by Gary. Could the numerous unresolved questions be resolved by this hidden tunnel? To learn more, keep watching. In a current episode of The Curse of Oak Island, the team, which also consists of archaeologists Dr. Aaron Taylor and Miriam Amaralt, geoscientist Dr. Ian Spooner, and metal detector expert Gary Drayton, examines stone walkways and a potential cellar feature close to the swamp's eastern border. During their investigation, Gary and David uncover a signal embedded in a wall, which eventually results in the finding of a huge caster wheel hidden beneath. Gary speculates that this wheel would have been used on Oak Island during a tunneling project, adding to the other finds of tunneling equipment on the island. Gary finds evidence of a hidden tunnel, which raises the question of whose responsibility it was to place the item there in the first place, and whose it was to find it afterwards. The original depositors or the later searchers. The team plans to carry out more investigation into the caster wheel in light of this discovery. In the vicinity of the marsh's eastern edge, metal detectorist Gary Drayton and the rest of the team are searching for stone pathways and a possible underground structure. Along with Dr. Aaron Taylor and Miriam Amaralt, the team also includes Dr. Ian Spooner, a geoscientist, and other archaeologists. In the midst of their excavation, Gary and David find a signal in a wall, so they ask Aaron to assist them by taking it out. On Oak Island, Gary thinks there may have been a tunneling operation and they discover a big caster wheel that may have been used in that. It is unclear whether or if this find was left by depositors or searchers, because it adds to the body of evidence of earlier tunneling tools discovered on the island. The group wants to store this discovery away for later investigation because it has caught their attention. Treasure hunter Gary Drayton used a metal detector and discovered not one but two distinct treasures. In the general area of Oak Island's shoreline, he made his first discovery. Drayton and his team found a button from an officer's uniform from the 17th century, although it is unknown to what branch of the armed forces it may have belonged. The military, on the other hand, might have buried some of the island's secrets, according to some evidence. Drayton and his colleagues made the second discovery that day not too far away, in a woodland. They found a tiny coin buried in the ground that they suspected to be another Maravedi from the 17th century, similar to the one that had been found at the end of the previous season. However, compared to the other coins, this one appeared to be significantly smaller, likely 2 Maravedis instead of 8. Even though they are small, these astonishing finds could point to a much bigger treasure that is hidden on Oak Island. Gary Drayton made a second double discovery while using his metal detector to search for wealth near Oak Island's shoreline. This time, Drayton and his team, along with Rick Lagina, the team leader from Oak Island, unearthed 2 King Charles II Britannia coins from the 17th century buried beneath the rocks and pyrite that were scattered along the shore. One of the coins that was found has the year 1771 clearly printed on its surface, supporting the idea that the money is older than a few hundred years. These coins from the 17th century, whence did they originate? Could they have been dropped accidentally by somebody searching for buried treasure in a hurry? Or else, and this is where there is reason for optimism, could they have been left there by a wealthy group that was on Oak Island looking to conceal its own loot? The Oak Island crew would, without a doubt, have to do more investigation. Generally speaking, the history of treasure hunting on Oak Island can be traced back to the time the money hole was dug there. The pit, commonly known as the money pit, is supposed to contain the found wealth, though it is difficult to predict whether any of them will be successful. In the end, the government and the Lagena brothers are at least 2 of the parties who stand to gain from the wealth. These parties would each be able to legitimately claim possession of a portion of the prize. However, it is impossible to predict if a scenario like that will ever occur in the Curse of Oak Island. For a long time, it was believed that pirates who operated in the late 17th and early 18th centuries' golden age of piracy found refuge on Oak Island. It was thought that these pirates had traveled the entire length of the North American East Coast and down into the Caribbean. When they made their discoveries, They wondered if they had accidentally discovered a pirate captain's lair of hidden treasure. But because the island was peculiar in that it was perched on a glacial tumulus, as they dug deeper, the shaft began to fill with water. Although there was no wealth to be found, the legend that developed around the purportedly hidden gold was so compelling that for the past 225 years, people have traveled to Oak Island in the hopes of discovering the treasure. In addition, as the years went on, more people joined the search for hidden treasure on the island outside of the Money Pit, which was the term given to the initial dig made by McGinnis and his associates. But what precisely is the treasure that is thought to exist? There are many theories floating around about what might be in the Oak Island treasure, and they range from the feasible to the absurd in terms of believability. The hypothesis that the relic in question is the rumored hidden fortune of a famous pirate from the so-called Golden Age of piracy, which roughly encompassed the years 1660 to 1730, is the one that is most widely accepted and backed by the most evidence. Famous buccaneers and pirates like Edward Teach, often known as Blackbeard, patrolled the waters off the east coast of North America during this time, traveling from Canada to the Caribbean islands. Have you signed up? To be the first to learn when the next video is out, make sure to do so right away and enable post notifications. The governments of Spain, England, France, and other countries that had a significant financial stake in the security of their commerce in this region were helpless to stop pirates from attacking significant colonial ships that were returning to Europe because of the high level of piracy that prevailed during this time. The Golden Age of piracy in the Western Atlantic only came to an end when the major European powers consented to add a clause to crack down on pirates in the Treaty of Utrecht, which ended the War of the Spanish Succession in 1713. Whether or not the money hole on Oak Island was made by humans is a topic of much debate. Geological evidence suggests that the Money Pit was not a man-made vault for concealed treasure. The bedrock on the island has a propensity to dissolve there due to the waves and the water table. This directly causes the construction of a subterranean network of faults and caves that has the potential to collapse and produce natural sinkholes. Despite this, the allure has drawn treasure hunters to the little island. The narratives have fueled skepticism about the circumstances leading up to the pit's development. On a distant island, a shocking new discovery was uncovered. Click the next video to learn more.